All right, let's continue our series called The Closes. This is the second of this series. There'll probably be 4 or 5 by the time I'm done. But this is the second in the series, The Closes. So the next close I want to talk about is a close called the ping pong close. This close, in my opinion, single-handedly will close the deal 75% of the time when the homeowner provides the right conditions for it. If you're out there demoing full time, getting yourself 7, 8 demos a week, you're probably going to run into this situation on average about once a week. And the key is, when you see this getting ready to happen, when it starts in front of you, you have this close ready that I'm about to give you, and you can execute it nice and smoothly, and it'll close them 75% of the time. But it only works when they give you the right conditions, which I'll share in a minute. And you've got to be ready for it. You can't let it continue in front of you or it falls apart. So I'm giving you a close that will work 75% of the time once a week. It's worth 3 deals a month if you've got it down. So let's talk about what the ping pong close is. Now, the lead in for the ping pong close is you've got 2 people. Doesn't matter whether they're mom and son, dad and child, husband and wife, partner and partner. It doesn't matter. You got 2 people, and one of them looks at the other and goes, "What do you think?" And the other one looks back and goes, "I don't know. What do you think?" You can't let that third, "I don't know," or "that's why I'm asking you." You can't let that. So the perfect placement for the ping pong is the first one goes, "What do you think?" Let the other one respond, because the other one might say, "I think we ought to do it." You don't need to do the close. They're going to take care of it for you. Or they might voice an objection and you want to hear what that is so you know what the problem is that person's having, because you might have to fix it or solve it or answer a question before they'll close. So you wait to see both sides of that. "So what do you think?" "I don't know. What do you think?" And that's when you execute the ping pong close. So again, let them both answer. Make sure that the other one's not going to go, "I think we ought to do it," and blah, 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 and they close it for you. Or they voice an objection that you need to hear. So let them both answer. "What do you think?" "I don't know. What do you think?" And then you want to be getting the agreement, the conversation first with the person who wants it the most. That's the key to this, is the thing that I'm going to do needs to be done first with the one who wants it the most. So whoever that is, turn to the other one. Let's just, in this case, say it's the wife that wants it the most. Not always, but a lot of times. The wife wants it the most. So you turn to John and you go, "Hey, hold on, time out. John, do you mind if I ask Mary a question?" Of course, he's going to say no. "Mary, if John told you he absolutely wanted to get these windows put in the home and he felt completely comfortable that y'all could afford them, wasn't any problem at all with that, would you keep him from getting the windows?" Now, she's the one that wants it the most. That's why you ask this question of them first. Because what are they going to say? "No, absolutely he can get it. I wouldn't keep him from getting it," because they want it. So they're going to give you what you want. And then you go, "Do you mind if I ask John a question?" "Well, no, I don't mind." John, same question. If Mary told you she absolutely had loved the windows and the way they would look on the home, felt completely comfortable with the numbers and how it would fit into the budget, would you tell her she couldn't have them? John, after hearing Mary say that she wouldn't keep him from getting it, 75% of the time is not going to say that, "No, she can't get windows." He's not going to set himself up for that. He's going to say the same thing. "No, not at all. Certainly she could get the windows." And then you immediately stick your hand out to John, the one you got the last one. "Well, I think we've answered our own question. Welcome to Remodel USA," and get that handshake or that fist bump right there and assume the sale. So let me give it to you again, the ping pong close. "What do you think?" "I don't know. What do you think?" "Hey, hold on, John, time out. Can I ask Mary a question?" "Thank you. Mary, let me ask you, if John said he absolutely loved these windows, wanted them in the home, and felt completely comfortable with the monthly investment and how he had set the numbers up, would you tell him he couldn't get the windows?" Well, no, absolutely. I wouldn't say that. I didn't think you would. Do you mind if I ask John a question, Mary? John, same question. Mary says she absolutely loves the windows and wants them on the home. She feels completely comfortable that this would fit in your budget. Would you tell her no, she couldn't get them? Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. I think we've answered our question, haven't we, folks? Welcome to Remodel USA. And you stick the fist out or the hand out to get a handshake. It's called the ping pong close. It breaks that cycle of what do you think? They both hear each other say they wouldn't get in each other's way, and then you assume the sale. Great little close. The next close that I want to do, one of my favorites, you got to practice this a little bit, but it's called the pen close. Now, the pen close works anytime you're asking for somebody to initial something or to approve something physically with a pen, okay? So if you're doing the initial visit discount and you've just covered how much money he's going to have come off of the initial visit discount, it brings the monthly investment down to just $301 a month. And then you set the piece of paper. He goes, says, John, that comes down to saving you $3,748 and brings that monthly investment to just $301 a month. Hand him the pen. Hold it there. Wait for him to take it. Don't tell him what you want to do with it yet because he hasn't taken it. Because if you tell him what you want him to do with it before he takes the pen, he might not take it. There you go. You hand the pen out to John like this, and you tell him how much he saves and what the monthly investment is. He takes the pen, and you go, John, I just need you to put your initials right here for that savings. And then you immediately turn to Mary and you stick your hand out or look for the fist bump and go, Mary, welcome to Remodel USA. What happens is she sees him holding the pen and he sees her because, again, the person I want to be turning to, hand the pen to the weaker of the two, the one that's the least, involved. And then once you have them holding the pen, turn to the one that wants it the most, whichever one that is, and ask them and say, welcome to Remodel USA, and get the handshake or the fist bump because they're the most likely to give it to you. They see their counterpart holding the pen, so they want it, and they fist bump you or shake your hand. This person holding the pen sees that go on and goes, what the heck, and puts their initials or does what you're asking. So you can do that with the initial visit incentive where it asks for the initials. It could be the social media form where you pull that out and you go over the conditions your manager just verbally had them agree to, and you write the savings and what the monthly investment would be. And then you go, John, and you hand the pen and go, I need you just to initial that so my manager knows you are indeed willing to do all those things for that savings. And he's already holding the pen, and then you immediately turn and get a handshake or a fist bump from the wife. Welcome to Remodel USA. It's called the pen close. Takes a little practice, but you come up with a reason like the initial visit or the social media or even the flex install sheet that you've handwritten. You hand them a pen. You ask them to initial the initial visit incentive for the savings or initial the social media showing the manager that you will indeed do those things we discussed or initial the flex install showing that you can do all of these qualifying conditions for the additional savings. And as soon as they're holding the pen and you've explained what it is they're initially for, you turn to the other one and welcome to Remodel USA. It's called the pen close. It's pretty darn effective. Now, the next one you can do is what's called the credit app close. This is a real good close if all of it seems to be there, but they're just being a little timid on expression, or you're having a hard time figuring out how to ask for the business without just standing there waiting for them to go, okay, we'll do it. And so you're just struggling with that a little bit, but you know it's right there. And this credit app close that I'm going to give you can be combined with the pen close from before. There's two ways you can execute credit apps. So you pull out a paper credit app and you got your pen, and you sit there, and if you're combining it with the pen close from before, you stick the credit app in front of whichever one is the lesser excited of the two, hand him the pen and say, take a look at this, John. You hand him the pen, he'll just take it. You just take a look and say, if I can get you to fill that out. And then you turn to Mary or whoever the most interested is and welcome them to Remodel USA. So you're combining the credit app with the pen close. But the credit app close goes like this. You take the credit app and the pen and you set it right between the two of them and say, whoever's got the best handwriting, why don't you go ahead and get started on that. And then you pick up your iPad and you don't pay any attention to them and you start acting like you're doing something on the iPad and you wait and see what happens. When the Credit app close works. One of them is going to reach out and grab the pen in the credit app, pull it over, and start filling it out. And then about 2 lines into it, this happens every time, 2 lines into it, they realize their partner's looking at them. They stop and they turn to their partner and go, "We're doing this, right?" And their partner goes, "Yeah, I guess we are." "Okay." And goes back to filling it out. When the credit app works, credit app close works, you're going to hear that dialogue almost every time. Now, you put that pen and paper in front of them, right between the two of them, and you go, "Here, whoever's got the best looking handwriting, why don't you get started on this?" You pick up your iPad and you start playing with it. If nobody picks up, now if they start talking or looking or figuring, leave them alone, don't say anything. But if they both sit there quietly and don't do anything for 30 seconds or a minute, this nice pregnant pause where nothing happens, remember, you either are moving closer to the sale or further away from the sale with everything you do. Don't look at them and go, "Was there a problem?" or "What's wrong?" Those move you away from the sale. You're assuming there's a problem or something's wrong. Instead, if you've had that long, pregnant pause and it's time to see what's up because they haven't picked up the pen, just pop your head up from the iPad and go, "Did you have a question?" And they'll say whatever's going through their head, and you keep on rolling and dealing with it. So you lay that credit app right in front of them, between the two of them, say, "Whoever's got the best handwriting, why don't you get started on this?" Pick up your iPad, start scrolling through it like you're doing something, and wait and see what happens. If one of them pulls it over, you're good. Let that play out. If they don't, after about a minute, just stick your head up and go, "Did you have a question?" And that'll stimulate them to share more. It's a great close when you feel like you're really there, but for whatever reason, they're just not moving over. Try the credit app close. It's a nice little easy close. I love it. And then my last one I'm going to give you is what I call the folded paper close. So I did this one for years in the window business when I first started. I love this close. It's a great close. And it's designed specifically for the "we need to think about it" person. So we need to think about it. Now, whenever somebody says they need to think about it, you need to have them tell you how long they need. Well, when you say you need to think about it, what are you thinking, John? It's Wednesday. Are we talking about, this weekend? Are we talking about next week? When you say you need to think about it, what are we talking about? I always assume a short period of time because that implies that I'm expecting this to happen and to happen very shortly. Don't say, "Well, what do you think? This weekend, a month from now, 6 months from now?" Don't do that. Just say, "Today's Monday. What are you thinking? Middle of the week? By the weekend? What are your thoughts, John?" And then he'll give you a number. "Well, yeah, by the weekend's fine," or "we'll know next week," or something like that. This close works best with the "I need to think about it," and they'll give you a short time frame in which they need to think about it. You can do it if it's 6 months. I've done it plenty of times, but it's really effective when they need to think about it, and it's for, just till the weekend or just till next week or give us 2 weeks kind of thing. Those people are teed up for this close. So when that happens, you got to catch their attention. You got to be that 1%. You got to say something blunt and honest that no other sales rep would come out and say to them. And what I'm going to say to them is this. This is how I intro into the folded paper close. "John, you say you'll let me know it's Wednesday. You say you'll let me know by this weekend. I need to be very candid with you, very upfront. Whether you get the windows or not, waiting till this weekend to make the decision is a terrible way to manage your money." That literally is what I'm going to say, something to the effect, "John, Mary, whether you get the shower or not, whether you decide it is something you want or you decide not to, waiting 4 or 5 days, waiting till this weekend to make the decision is a terrible way to handle your money." Something like that. And I want to get their attention. You're like, "What do you mean?" Or they'll get startled or look up. They don't have to say anything. Just let that sink in for a second. Let them catch themselves going, whoa, what do you mean? You go, here, let me explain. Here's what I mean. You see this blank piece of paper? This blank piece of paper represents everything there is to know about my window, my shower, whatever, and my company. Now, I've been with this company a long time. We're going through continuous training. I talk to people every day. I could go on a 6-month around the world vacation and come back the first day back, and I'd cover virtually all this information because I know it so well. But we learn things through repetition as people. That's why I have continual training, to keep things fresh in my mind. And because we learn things through repetition, you've only heard this information once. So right now, you know as much as I do. It's Wednesday night. It's past your bedtime. You already said you're usually in bed by this hour. So if we don't decide tonight, you're going to wake up tomorrow morning, probably running a little late to work. You didn't get the kids' lunches made, so you got to do that. And so it's not going to occur to you to really think or discuss the windows tomorrow morning. But because you slept on it, you've forgotten some of the information. Now you're going to go Thursday. You're going to come home Thursday night. The kids didn't get a bedtime story tonight, so you owe them 2 tomorrow night. So we're really not talking about windows tomorrow night either. You go to bed. You do get a good night's sleep. You wake up Friday morning. The wife goes, "What about those windows? We need to talk about it." And you go, "It's Friday. I'll tell you what. Let's wait till tomorrow. We'll do our chores and we'll talk about it tomorrow afternoon when we're freed up." So you go to where you've forgotten a little more now. It's another night's sleep. You go to work. Great day on Friday. Come home, a little Netflix, relax. It's the weekend. You get up in the morning. Saturday morning, you do your chores. She does hers. Come lunchtime, you got hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill. You're having a cold beverage. Another day's gone by. And you're going to make a $25,000 decision with your money with that much information. Whether you get the windows or whether you decide not to get the windows, making a $25,000 decision with that much information is a crazy way to spend your money. It's not smart. And then they're perfectly teed up for a little incentive and porch light them to let them go think about it. It's a great one to tee them up, give them a little incentive after you explain that to them, and then porch light them to let them think about it. Because now you can stand on, I can't think it over. Decide one way or the other. Just decide what's in your best interest. I'm good either way. I'll take a no as graciously as a yes, but I can't let you be foolish with your money. And you can really stand on that now after that example. Remember, the whole way of making big money in this business is not getting people to say yes or making them buy or I got to close them. All you need to do is commit to everybody I see is going to make a decision one way or the other. Whatever's in their best interest. If this is in their best interest, let's do it. If it's not in your best interest, let's not do it. But I'm not going to let you sit on that fence post on the fence between yes and no and not decide. If you can get rid of procrastinators and get people to decide, you will do unbelievably well in this business. And that's what this close does, is it really sets you up to take away that I need to think about it, show them how much you care about their money and they're making the right decision for themselves. Whichever way they decide, I can take a no as graciously as I take a yes. I just don't want you to be foolish with your money. I can't allow that. And then you can stand on it. Your porch light will come in and stand on. They have to decide. One last thought about the porch light close. Occasionally you'll have a guy or gal say to you, "Well, I'm not going to forget it all. I'll remember it come the weekend. I'll remember everything you told me." Just look at them and pick something out about the product and just ask him a question. "John, what's the name of my window?" And see if he can say Energy Max 15, because he can't. Even though you've said it 4 or 5 times and the most recent time was 30 minutes ago, he's not going to remember Energy Max 15. Or, what is it that's in the Kohler valve in the shower head that's going to make sure that the water pressure is a little bit better and uniform and keeps the water warmer. He's not going to be able to tell you catalyst technology. Whether it's windows or the kitchen or the shower, you can pick something out and throw a quiz question. Have a good one and use that one every time, and they won't remember. And you go, "That's what I mean, John. 30 minutes ago I said that the last time, and I've said it 3 or 4. It's okay. I would have forgotten 2 when I first heard about it. I studied and studied and studied to get this information down." It's our nature. It's human nature. That's what I mean. You need to make the decision whether it's yes or no, and I'm good either way, with the most information, not the least information. And then you can really stand on it again. It's a great close. I love the folded paper close. Like, follow, and subscribe.